Hello and welcome to Cooking with Rufert. Today we'll be making some Flæskesteg. But before you go any further, go make some loin if you haven't already, as it's an integral part of enjoying this. First you'll need a good bit of swine. Loin, I think. To avoid confusion, I've drawn this handy diagram. Depending on the quality of the cut, there may be bones in there. Usually if it's cheap, there's a bone in there, and there's less meat and more fat. Try to avoid that. This big DK, mine came pre-cut, as they already understood my Danish intentions with the meat. If this isn't the case, you'll need to make a bunch of tiny cuts in the skin yourself, with about half a centimeter between them. This is important not to make them too deep or the fucking thing won't get crisp. Cut down too, but not through the fat. You can see how deep the fat goes by looking on the side of the meat. We'll be placing this swine in a tray of some sort that'll go in the oven. This can be glass, ceramic, steel, erectionite, it doesn't matter, as long as it can handle the temperatures of the oven. We'll be pouring some water in with it. This will make the meat nice and tender. But fuck, wait, we don't want the rind tender. The bastard needs to be crisp. Well, fear not. The fat between the meat and the rind will make sure that the water is only soaked into the meat, not up to the top. Which is why it is important you didn't cut all the way through the fat when you made the grooves earlier. Similarly, it's important that the water you pour in doesn't go up over the fat and touch the rind. But fuck, watch this. The goddamn meat is sloped and creates the so-called danger zone and will suck up most of the rind if it's left like this. Luckily, due to ancient Viking ingenuity, we are able to crumple up some tin foil and slap it under the offending corner of the meat, elevating it. Right, now pour some water on the damn thing. This is the only time you'll be doing this, as it'll help the salt we're about to put on to stick. You can pour in as much water as you want as long as it doesn't reach the fat. If you're nervous about it, you can put in less, but while it's cooking, it must never run out of water. So you're likely to have to put in more. I'm lazy and pour in as much as I can, and hope that my foil ball won't betray me. Then rub some salt onto the rind. This is important for it to be crispy. It'll stick easier since you made it wet earlier. Use a lot. The excess will fall off, so more is better than too little. When that's done, slap that fucker in the oven. If you have a thermometer, bam it into the meat. You'll want a core temperature of about 60 to 70 when you're done. Now turn on the oven to 200 degrees. That's right, you don't preheat the oven. Don't ask me, because I don't know why, but it's like that. And that's the way it is. It's usually half an hour per half kilo of meat. Keep an eye on it. If the water looks like it's about to disappear, add more. Remember, don't pour it on top of it, pour it on the side. You don't want the rind wet. Eventually, it'll be done. Take that fucker out and knock on the rind. If it makes a nice hollow sound, it's nice and crisp. Then make a cut. You want to have a very light color. No pink bits in the meat. If it's still pink, put it back in the oven. When it's done, let it rest for 20 minutes uncovered. While this happens, we'll be making the sauce. This one will be a bit weird, since depending on the size of your roast, the tray you put it in, and the amount of water you put in, the amounts will be different, but here goes. Take the water left over in the tray the roast was in and pour it into a pot. Add some salt, pepper and a bit of food bouillon if it seems thin. Beef is good, so is pork. Wait until it boils. Once it's boiling, add some milk. About a deciliter depending. I'm using some horrid soy substitute as I don't want to die. Put a bit of flour in there until it's got a good consistency. Also, if you have too little, add more water and bouillon until you have a good amount. Then get some browning. This basically just gives the sauce some color. It's made from vulcanized badger's cock or caramel depending on the brand, so it doesn't have much of a taste on its own, but it makes the sauce nicer to look at. Add some until you get an extreme state of brown, and you're done. Get some potatoes and serve the Flæskesteg with this and the sauce, then eat it.